Hello, and in this video we'll be looking at the basics of comprehensions. I like to call it Python comprehensions, yeah, but they are commonly known as list comprehensions. They also work for dictionaries. Well, first question we'll ask ourselves is, what is a list comprehension? A list comprehension is a really powerful feature of Python where you can convert your for loops, your loop, for example, anything, you know what the loop is, right? A loop is anything that goes over an iterable. Anything that iterates over an iterable, right, is a loop. So the list comprehension allows you to write your for loops in just one line, right? So let's take an example. Let's pick an example. So if we have a list of items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I know you're going to tell me that I can always, I hope I also know that we can always write it like this. I hope you know that. Okay, let me convert this to a list so that we are, even though you don't need to, right? I'm assuming that you can do this in any editor you want, but I'm doing this on Jupyter Notebook, right? No, Jupyter Lab or Jupyter. So same thing, whether I use the first or the second option to generate your list, doesn't matter, right? So that's our list. And if I want to iterate over this list, right? If I want to create another list from this list, one at a time using a loop, the simplest way would be to do for item in list 1. So first, like I always try to do, new list, empty. Item in list 1, new list dot append item, right? And when you are done, let's now print new list. That's a for loop, right? So you have to do the whole append thing. But why do you have to do all of that when you can actually do this? You write the same thing for item in list 1. But this time, since you're just appending the item, you just come here just before the item. Then we'll wrap all of this around with. So if you do this, you see that we have exactly the same thing. Basic list comprehension. Now, if you want to do just the same thing, but this time you want to only return items that meet a particular condition. So if I do a conditional here and I say if item is even, so item 2, right? Now this time it does not, what it appends here is the item only if it meets the criteria, right? You see what happens this time? It only prints the even guys in this list. So we can do the same thing as we've done here with a list comprehension, but this time we are doing it with if statement, right? So how do you think we are going to do this? Well, all you have to do is this same if statement that we have here. I just need to, oh, sorry. I just need to do a copy. And paste it right in front. See, it looks like we are following the same pattern, right? Nothing seems to, so I'm going to be very troublesome for a bit, just so that it looks like these guys are together. Same thing has just happened. Looks good, yeah? Excellent. So you can see that you have, okay, so let's do the same thing for even numbers. Just what if you of course, let's just change this. I have 135. Good. Now, the next thing that I want to look at is what if you have another for loop? So what if this time you want to create another condition, another loop right in this? We know that this is not possible in this particular one. We're going to create nested conditions. Before even that, let's even say we want to create an else. So we want to square the item if it is odd, right? But return 0 if it is even. So let's look at that. Square the item if it's odd, but return 0 if it is even. Right? Looks very tricky, yeah? So let's see if something we can do, right? Let's first try it out with a list without list comprehension. We'll just copy this. Remember that's where we come from, right? So we say square the item if it is odd. So this time, if it is odd, what we are doing here is that we are appending the square, right? Also, if it is even, we can test this out, and this is what we should get, right? So let's try the same thing. Remember, the base is item for item in list 1. Basic stuff. Let's make our edits to this. So this time we are going to be doing things with a bit of a tweak. So we are going to be, you say that if this meets the criteria, so we're going to put our if here, but we are returning item square. So item square if item 2 is not equal to 0, else 0. See, this and this are, and let's not forget in item. Oh, sorry. Is that accurate? Sorry. Yeah, this is it. So item squared if item 2 is not equal to 0, else 0 for item in list. I run, let me just copy and paste, so you're on the same page. And you see the exact same thing happened whether you use this or you use this. So you notice that because of the else statement, I had to move my condition before the list comprehension, right? You probably need to take note of that. If there was no else statement, for example, so I could do, I'm going to cut this, and then I'll move this here. And this would need to be item 2. See that? So if I do this, you notice that there is nowhere to square item 2. But some of us will think that by doing this, this will not work because our else is in the wrong place, right? I just decided to share that with you so that you are aware. Okay, so that is where that means what have we covered? We've covered the basic comprehension. We've covered how to do a nested for loop, yes. We've done also how to include conditionals in our comprehension. We also have included how to include conditionals, and that's if else, right? And of course, you can always do multiple if else statements. So you can do if, elif, and so on and so forth, and But remember, if your if always go with an elif and so on and so forth. So someone asked me, well, how do you, if you want to do else if in this case, right? How do you do the else if? Okay, let's try that out, right? Of course, it's always good to try these things out. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to do a copy. I'm going to paste this. Okay, I think we've gone missing. Okay, I'm going to paste this right here. And let's see. So we're trying to complicate our lives a bit. Yes, multiple nested if statements, right? So if item, let's even say the goal here is to if item 1 power by 1, right? Or let's say power by 2. If item 2, okay, 1 or 2, let's do that. If item is 3, power by 3. Else, return 0. So if the item is 1 or 2, you can just do that here. You can say if item in 1, 2, right? Append, that works. So we enter another if item in, instead of that, item is equal to 3. Oops, sorry. Yeah, that was very wrong. If item is equal to 3, new list dot append item power by 3, right? We're making progress. Next, okay, lastly, we say if or else return 0. Let's test this out. So it's assumed that it's going to return 1427 0. Okay, let's see if we can put this back out in a list comprehension, right? Remember the base item for item in list 1 base, right? Good. So let's do the next thing. Take out the item and we'll start writing our comprehension. First thing is we're returning item 2, right? If item in 1, 2. Else, what are we returning next? Item 3. If item, we're not in this time, go to 3. Else, are we done? I think that's all. 0. I'm gonna try this out, and the exact same thing falls in place. Well, like they always say about Python, according to the Zen of Python, if it is not simple, do not use it. I will never recommend complex list comprehension. This right here is an example of a complex list comprehension. It probably does be a show off. But at least we know that no matter how complex a list comprehension is, it is possible for you to do it. This is easier to read on the eye. However, because of the append here, appends could be slow. Bad news, so these comprehensions are naturally faster than follows, right? But you don't want to sacrifice, sometimes you want to sacrifice speed for ease of understanding, right? Well, I feel I should let that out so that we are fully aware. Okay. So one of the uses of list comprehensions I think we'll need to know is in the manipulation of matrix. In the manipulation of matrix. So let's see. If we define a matrix as such, Let me just copy and paste. Oops, okay. So that we don't have to wait a lot of time. So we have this matrix. If I type matrix, so we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. Right? This is what I want to create. So if I want to create this matrix, how do I create it? Right? You can have the usual way of creating it for item in range 4. Okay, let's just create a blank matrix. Okay, let's use the same word, new list, and say new list dot append. What we're appending is an empty list, and then right inside that empty list for inner in range 4. Matrix item, oops, sorry, append inner. Let's see if this works. Oh, what did I miss? 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 Let's see. Something is missing. Something is missing. Okay. Okay, this should actually be new lists. And since I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it should be 5. All right. So this works for us, right? Now we're about to complicate it real bad. Real bad. But I would say you just be patient with us, all right? Be very patient. We're about to convert this using the same principle that we learned earlier into a list comprehension, right? So this particular one now is what is the nested for loop. We're trying to convert a nested for loop. For loop is going to be a nested for loop list comprehension, right? I pick the outer one, that's for item in range 5. Put that down for item in range 5. We are building our comprehension one at a time, right? Of course, if we try this item for item in range 5, what happens? You just print 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Good. Let's copy. Let's create a new thing. Next thing we're going to look at is, okay, how are we going to write inside where this item should be? We're trying to create another. So if, look at what else did. I wrap it around with a list. And it seems to have created an inner list, right? We're getting smarter, aren't we? So we wrap it around with a list. And instead of returning this, I can return a fresh new. So I can say for inner in range 4. Oh, did I miss something? Okay, yes, I actually did. Inner for inner in range 4. And see what has happened? The exact same thing has just been put together using the for loop and using the list comprehension. the nested list comprehension, right? Yeah. Okay. So are there any other things that we can learn from list comprehensions? Of course, there are. Of course, there are. Let's see. There should be one more, right? All right. If you know any advanced list comprehensions, you can always share. I'm sure there are so many of them out there in the wild. I'd say have fun with list comprehensions, and you should really enjoy yourself, right? Thanks and bye.